policies should come at last, right? Right? So either one way or another, each one of us is right here. So before we come to your question, I want to, if Engineer Emmanuel is around, because the question is, I would not say if the question is addressed to him, but I want to give him a second chance so that he can tell us what he meant yesterday, though it's a little bit confusing when we follow the perspective of Sir Francis. Meanwhile, we all agree that insurance has their role to play also. But the best thing is that we don't want to depend, as El have mentioned, a good management system will not depend on the outside insurance. Though in the clauses, it is advised that they should insure their staff. That one is clear. But preparing them, training them, educating them on safety procedure is better than insuring them, because insurance will always come when the accident happens. But as a safety officer, manager, we want to prevent, we want to be proactive, we don't want to be reactive. So thank you for this the conclusion. Now, we come back to you now, Madam Mosina, you ask your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. So I was trying to ask this. How do we do this when you find yourself, not having a very good relationship with managers and workers? When you are putting your best, you're in the forefront, you are the one seeing all these hazards. But when it comes to work, your managers, they don't take care of you, and you find out that some of the hazard in that company or wherever you are working may be caused by workers that are so angry because they don't have a very good PR with the managers and the supervisors of the company. So in this kind of situation, what do you do when you are engaged with this kind of people, this kind of managers and supervisors that they don't have a very good PR? PR means personal relationship with workers. What do you do in that kind of situation? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I can guess that you have been enduring a lot in your work, which is a good attitude, which is a good quality. Endurance helps us to be an approved person. Thank you very much. Because from your question, I see that you really asked reflexive question. Thank you once again. Now let me throw back the question to the audience, because I strongly believe that when we are dealing with safety culture, that is the lecture of our Queen Else, she hang on that area. Now let me throw the question to the audience. Who is going to give her an answer? I believe each one of us understand her question. After try your best in your organization, you see that your management or those you need to work with are not cooperative. They don't have a good rapport. After trying your best, what can we do, please? Who will answer? Or maybe I'll choose somebody myself. Answer. I remind ourselves that our health dealt with the cause while dealing with a safety culture. She mentioned something. Let me quickly check if her presentation is still on hand. So let me ask somebody else that to give us answer. Yes, you have our governor. You know, we are really embarked on the session that we forget to acknowledge her, Governor Janet. Good evening, madam. Please, you can unmute yourself.
Good evening, class.
Yeah, good evening, our governor, our honorable governor.
Thank you, sir.
You are welcome.
Grateful, sir. I think in a situation like that, you just have to keep trying your best and ensure that you do what is necessary, what is right, if you can do it. Just as they say, you can't kill yourself, but what you feel is right, do it.
Recording in progress.
Even when the rest refuse to do it, if they are not cooperating, you just have to do it and maybe report to the management if necessary, so that
You are not reporting them because you want them sacked or something. No. You are reporting them so that it's for the safety of everybody at the workplace. You are reporting them. Before reporting them, I think you should have called their attention. But if they keep doing it, you have no option than to tender this issue before the management. Thank you.
Thank you very much. But I believe she said that if the manager is not cooperating. So if the manager is not cooperating, who will you report the manager to?
It's even the manager that is giving the workers
the job manager.
So what do I do in that kind of situation?
Yeah. So this is her question. If the manager is not cooperating, because there are some good managers that always think in terms of benefit, in terms of finance, in terms of money. They don't want to know anything about only money, whether you are dying or you are living. They don't care about your condition. So who will you report to the manager? The manager might seem to be the CEO himself.
If the manager...
Yes, go on.
If the manager is not cooperating, just as I said, you are not going to kill yourself. You will not kill yourself, as I say. You will just do your best and leave the rest and ensure that the necessary people that are supposed to know about this are aware in case of incasity. Because if accidents or something is to occur, it does not tell anyone that it will happen. When it occurs, when that accident or what we are preventing, what you don't want to happen, when it happens, at least I think at times something should be written. The manager also have a superior. Let them know that, yes, this is my best, which I am trying, and I can't do more than this. Well, I don't know. You cannot report your manager just as it has been said. I don't know. I just believe do your own best and leave the rest. When anything happens, it will be left to the manager and the management themselves to know what to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I call on Mr. Shamsdin, Mr. Shamsi Dalatu. And Mr. Shamsi Dalatu has been involved from the previous batch. Please, I'll call on you right now. But before I go there, your statement remind me a song of a Nigerian that say, I can't keep myself. So you can't kill yourself when you see that. Thank you for your point. But still, you have some means, you have some power within you to treat such a case. Now let's go to Shamsi Dalatu. Good evening, sir. Please, can you unmute yourself?
Okay, good evening, sir. Good evening, colleagues. Good evening. Yes, I just want to chip in some opinion from experience. I think you don't have the power to report your superior, but to me, you have the power because you have your biro. That's why in the working place, you have your logins, you have your means of reporting. There is a continuous reporting at all times. So I think whatever is not safety provision, whatever personal relationship is not, I think you can just pick up your biro and put it in your logins. Yeah, you log it. There is a continuous reporting at all times. That's why you are given the logbook. So you log it inside. Whatever is not. Okay, I came from aviation background. Okay, in which sometimes you can even report a pilot. We have, like in airports, we have marshals. Marshals, they are working for safety. Are those people that direct an aircraft while on ground? You understand? So they ensure the safe parking of an aircraft, safe engine start of an aircraft. They allocate a parking bay for an aircraft. But sometimes there are stubborn pilots that if those marshals are trying to call them to park in a particular parking bay, they refuse. They normally refuse and park themselves somewhere they want to park. You understand? So a marshal cannot just come and start dragging the pilot or having issues with pilot. No, you just take his biro and log it. And because of that, because of those logins, there was a time a pilot, a license of a pilot was seized. You understand, by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. So you have your biro, there is continuous reporting, there is you have your logins, put it in the log. So I think you have a power to do that. That's why you are given a logbook. So I think that's
thank you very much for your contribution. I really agree. Please, before I forget, there is something I want to remind each one of us. Please, a minute.
I'm sorry, but I'm a bit upset now that I don't know which pilots it is about exactly, but if it are line flights, they have at least 50 people on board. They are jeopardizing. It shouldn't be enough to just put something like that in a logbook. This is an emergency. He's a killer. Eh?
Yeah.
If he takes shortcuts in the checklists and so on.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but this is too much important for just logbook.
Thank you very much. Please, before we continue, there is a thing I want to remind each one of us. After the class, do not forget to make a report. I mean, the feedback, especially those who have been sponsored by either your organization. Even if you are a self-sponsor for this particular course, do not forget at the end you make a feedback. That feedback, for those who work in your organization, you submit it to them. When you submit it to them, it will make good impact. So please do not forget, make your feedback. So the best way to have your feedback is by putting down all ideas, all things discussed here. It will help you to make a report, a feedback. So I just remember, I feel, let me tell each one of us, please do it. Now, Sir Dalat has completely the right. You know, as an employee, I mean, a simple employee, you have your rights. That's why it is always good that we need to put things down. Our power lies within our reports. It's true, there are some CEOs, there are some managers that are tough. They don't care, especially in Africa. So please, you have the power to write things down by making a report. You have the power. So we have seen the answer. The power comes within our. We make reports. We continue making reports. I know what she is saying, Madam Osina. She has been enduring things and work ethic. If work ethic are not respected, it really, even it gives stress. As you will see in one of the courses, it leads to stress. How to handle specific risks at workplace. I think it's course 106 that will come next time. So please, you have a right to write what you are enduring, what you are going through. And yesterday we talked about safety representative. Did we remember the slide where we show the annual meeting where everybody was represented? These are the issues that need to be discussed when everyone gathered. Now, if you are not entitled to be at such a meeting, the report you made to your superior, you must make sure that your superior carry out such a report, your voice, to the top management. Then things will be discussed. You know, and also, it's really important. If you fear, if you cower, your manager will know that you cannot resist, and he will keep on intimidating you. But if you are firm, you have freedom of speech, even though he will acknowledge within himself that you are a good person, because you keep on hammering that things should be done in the right way. Sometimes there are some trickish managers. They will know exactly what they are doing, but they will pretend to see your reaction. But if you fear, if you cower, he will see that you cannot resist, and he will not. Even sometimes some will say that they cannot give you promotion, because if they promote you, you cannot handle things well. But if you are firm, you are strong, he will definitely say within himself that this my colleague, this my worker, she's a very nice person, because she keep on hammering that things are not done well, things are not done well, things are not done well. And one day you will see justice will be done to you. So we have something to do. Always make good report. Now, Els told us how we need to persuade people, the art of persuasion. Sometimes you might forgo some of your rights. You might not, you say that you decide not to talk about it, but another time it is really important. You insist that things should be done, things should be corrected. Once you raise up your voice, because there are times you need to raise up your voice, and there are times you know how to lower it. So we have a power within us. Making reports. Okay, please, sir, you are still having your hand up. Maybe you want to contribute again. Yes, yes, you can unmute yourself. Yeah, we are listening to you.
Hello?
Okay, I think I did not lower the hand. That's why I just
no. Okay, is Madam Osinasi? Madam Osinasi raised her hand. So thank you for your contribution. You really appreciate. Yes, Madam Osinasi.
Sir, you see, in some situations here, sometimes you people don't get the establishment I'm coming from. I tender this that I'm a naval officer. I'm a military personnel. You don't report your senior. You don't try it. You don't report your senior. You don't go there and report your boss. Our work is a zombie work. I am doing that work now because I have a passion for that work. I have a serious passion. That's why I'm still remaining. And I'm telling you all these things. It's not that it's happening to me. This is situations you see in some offices you have worked. I am not referring to myself. This is what I've been noticing in some establishment that I have worked. Do you get what I'm saying? So these things are not happening to me. So you don't even tender, you don't even go and write them that you want to report your senior. You are sacked for it. You are in for it. Your own is I, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because you have signed it. You are a zombie. You don't have blood.
Yes, but such system is bad. A system that you cannot amend is bad. You remember yesterday I showed a slide, especially point number 7, point number 4, among the 7 characteristics of a safety-minded, point number 4, which say, and I state, I still repeat, health and safety should constantly be improved. You can make change to prevent accident every day, even in an accident-free period. So there is no system that is absolute perfect, even in the army. You know, especially in West Africa, we are experiencing what we call coup d'etat. All those coup d'etat come from the years of frustration that have been piled up, and they can't talk because it is military. You cannot report your boy, you cannot report your officer. But when it comes to safety, safety is completely different from military. Safety is completely different from politics. Safety is fairness. Safety is integrity. Even God himself abides to his safety laws. That's why we have days and night, summer and what do you call it? All the different seasons. Winter, summer, and winter. You know, God abides to his safety laws. So any system that is completely rigid, and let me tell you, those systems, especially the military, most of our African military shaft have been carved over the pre-colonial period, and they still need to be reformatted, readjusted. You really understand what you are saying. Even there are some institutions that you just to answer yes, even if they are not military, you need to answer sir. If failure to answer sir, you will be fired. But it should not be there. Safety is completely different. In safety, we learn to be a safety conscious. That's why we say, when you see it, you own it. You see, when we see it, you own it. And I am really happy that such question is discussed. A safety officer, a safety manager is someone that is fearless. You need to be fearful by respecting authority, the hierarchy, but you need to be fearless when it comes to defend safety, righteousness, because righteousness is fairness. Even if your opponent is in disagreement with you, the truth should unite each one of you. Okay, Mr. Francis.
Can I ask you something? Are you in Nigeria? Because I'm not really good at recognizing names yet.
Yeah, she's from Nigeria.
From Nigeria. So we have taught the top from the naval. How do you call that? Help me.
Naval.
I have seen your top person, he's such a nice guy, and he understands completely that what we do is exactly what the army stands for, to serve and protect. It is not, I know the system in military, you have officers, and then you have commanders. I don't know the names, and it's different in different parts of the army and so on. If you cannot get your superior, your hierarchic superior to abide to the rules of health and safety that are normal in your naval army field, then you go to his superior, because otherwise you are potentially an accomplice to murder. That's the why. That righteousness, that is the why. You are protecting lives, just the same as in the army. And when we spoke to him, I recited the thing from our heroes past. The things you do today, you are the heroes past. The things you do, you are the heroes of the future. So the things you do today will, that is what the hymn is about. So please make sure you understand the why, and put the why up here. The why is above everybody. I don't care how high that it is that you are in the military. Health and safety, that is above everybody. Life is above everybody. Love is above everybody. Responsibility of protecting lives is above everybody. That is why you, ma'am, risk your life for your country.
Yes. Thank you, Ed, for emphasis. But she said that it's not from her office. The situation is not coming from her. Probably from observation of other areas. So the situation is not particularly applied to her. But this is the point. You need to be decisive. Sir Francis, who may want to add input. Yes, sir, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. This is a familiar, even if OSHA is saying it's not from our office, for those of us in Nigeria, it's a familiar happening. Certain institutions like Mr. Lee said, just so many institutions in Nigeria are just like it's regimented. All you do is yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. But you see, when it comes to safety, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
When it comes to safety, I tell you, in as much as people pretend not to want to listen, deep down in their heart, they are worried. They are hopeful that nothing goes wrong, even if they decide to, on the surface, show some level of, well, with due respect, incantation. However, the thing to do is persuasion. This persuasion has to go from the first line of it, make a verbal persuasion. Let your boss understand what's going on. If you fail to listen, begin to document it. You never document enough. Documentation, 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 documentation. Document it, write to him. In the first letter, you may say, okay, following our conversation, verbal conversation, this you have decided to put it in writing. So that while you are doing that, you are also protecting yourself. God forbid, if anything happens tomorrow, your documentation is what will exonerate you, that you have shouted, but you just were not listened to. When you are writing the second letter, you may also begin to let them understand the regulations that are involved that they are probably breaching by putting people's life on the line. When you are writing the third letter, begin to make them understand the cost implications that may come to the organization if the action that they are taking now, if they fail to change their ways. So in a nutshell, I will just say, It's all about documentation, documentation, documentation. Somebody that may not listen to you, when you speak to him or her verbally, immediately you document it. You'll be surprised that person will make a 360 turn around and will begin to behave differently because he or she knows that it is now formal. It has been written. So any decision that is taken from there on, you don't have a document to show tomorrow that he is the one that is responsible, that fails to do what he or she is supposed to do. So I think that's just my view about it. The preparation to come in form of documentation, documentation, documentation. Don't get tired of writing. Take it one step ahead of the person, step ahead of the person. Let at each time you write, take it above and above and above until they listen to you. You don't relent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. In fact, tonight's interactive session is really sweet, and this is what we look for. I am really happy. Madam Osinasi, thank you very much for your question. I said it yesterday, most of your questions are reflexive questions, and these are the questions we are looking for. It helps each one of us to see the angle, the true color of safety. You want to live, that's why safety is righteousness. And you can't choose to be righteous and at the same time try compromising with the righteous principle. That's why I think God himself abides to his own principle, and God is safety. You see, so thank you very much. All your contribution from here and there help each one to ginger. Okay, we have, sir. Let me tell you that tonight's course is going to be course 108 about PPE. So our lecturer is going to be ready in 5 minutes, and which is the normal time. So at 7 p.m., we fully start our course. But before that, we still have 5 minutes whereby we need to interact. So this is the opportunity for you to raise your input, to bring your input. So we go back to Sir Shamsdin Dalatu.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to shed more light on the documentation that my Oga, Mr. Francis, is talking about right now. I just want to give a story that happens with one pilot in an airport. You understand? That pilot is very stubborn. You understand? Whenever he lands, it's a small aircraft, Beechcraft, one small aircraft like that. So there was all these Boeing 747 that were parked in the apron. You understand? So he likes to go under those big aircraft and park his own small aircraft. And most at times, the marshals, they wanted to park him in a safer place. But being him so stubborn, he doesn't want to park in where they want him to park. So there was a time he parked the aircraft. And then, okay, those marshals have been documenting. Whenever he disobeyed them, they will just go and write the documentation and close their work and go. You understand? So there was a time that aircraft was parked. The pilot parked the aircraft under those big aircrafts. And one of the big aircraft wanted to go for a flight. You understand? So during the turnaround of the aircraft, jet blast and the aircraft now hits the small aircraft right there, and then it breaks the small aircraft into two parts. It breaks it like condemned. You understand? So then investigation starts. Okay, and the pilot now denies the fact that he parked himself. You understand? He said he was parked there by the marshals. Do you know that those documentations are what saved those marshals, especially the marshal on duty on that day? You understand? So the investigation now came. They started to look at the marshal's logbook. They found about 7 people wrote something but about exactly the same thing, disobeying. 7 people documented same thing about him. 7 different marshals. You understand? And that was what saved the marshal on duty. So continuous documentation. One day it will come in handy. one day it will come in handy, definitely. So that's thank you very much.
Thank you very much for such input. We really appreciate. You know, as could say the shark boy, this is what makes us masters. We are master over the subject being discovered. This is what makes us master of safety. You know, this is the reality we are faced with. And safety is not a joke. Safety is not a joke. Either you apply to safety or you are not safe. Thank you, each one of you, for your input. We really appreciate it. Tonight's class made me really happy. I'm happy that those questions are raised. And please, each time you are making documentation, back up your documentation with what? With references, which means you need to study. You need to know the sector you are dealing with. You need to know which law, which policies apply. So you back your documentation with references. It is called technical documentation. Because this is what, this is the limelight, this is the limelight, this is the measurement, this is the main yardstick. You back up there with the reference, because those references apply to everyone, whether you are Oga or you are under Oga. That article, those references put everyone on the same line. So always back up your documentation with references, with rule, regulation, national, maybe national, regional, or international. So thank you very much. In fact, I'm really proud of this evening class. And also, as the governor said, each one of us behaved in a very nice way, no noise, no distraction. On this note, you are welcome to this evening class. Today's class is course 108 PPE. It is one of the best attractive class that we always have. Therefore, we have among us a well-qualified, the chief engineer. In fact, he is the one doing background work. He is one of the lens of our association. I mean, Engineer Hafeez. Engineer Hafeez, right, is interacting with us from Dubai. And tonight, we're going to give him the floor so that he can fully quick off with this evening class. So, Engineer Hafeez, once again, thank you for being available for us. And please, can you unmute yourself? The floor is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So it's okay? Fine?
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah. Hi, good evening and good night as well, if some people are from Asia. So I hope everybody is doing great. And yeah, it was a great session. And this is actually, I will say that this is the better approach, I guess. And our delegates also like that, to have more and more question and answer sessions. The discussion thing, once you have some knowledge, there's some formal knowledge, some class, and then afterwards, that is very much better that you have time to discuss things, to discuss your ideas, because learning is something that improves with discussion. And of course, the learning is enriched with the experience. The experience that can happen, that can happen to anyone, that can come from anybody, maybe a very fresher engineer or professional entering into industry on his first day, have a experience that someone who is there for 5 years cannot have. So it is a matter of time. It is a thing that comes with the time, and it can happen with people. But definitely, the people with the more time in the industry, they will definitely have more experience. So over here as well, our delegates, they are very groomed professionals, and they are here by choice, and definitely they have a mindset of safety. Definitely it was in their blood, in their genes. So they have chosen this to come to this track. So it was a very good session. Now, first of all, we will go formally
to, I think, yeah, no, the delegates are there. All the delegates are there. We will go through quickly the coursework for today. Today we have the course 108. It is about the personal protective equipment. As yesterday we were talking about personal protective equipments. Uh, so now today we will be having full course about that. And regarding the course, before going into the presentation, I would like to request to all of you that whenever you are going to have a session where there's someone is presenting something, the most important thing is that you should think what you have got from the slides, or in the sense means this is up to the presenter that he should know what he is teaching you, what, but at the same time you need to grab the concept. You should uh, yeah, you should take care that whatever is going on, you should be understanding that. Otherwise, you need to raise the questions, right? You can write it on the side in the chat bar, or you can raise your hands. So that the session becomes more productive. So now straight I will go to the slides for the today course, and we will have the slides so that you can have the more and more questions. And same like this session and previous ones, it is guaranteed, I assure you, that much of the things come through the discussion in our courses. So try to be involved and indulge more and more during the session. Keep things, keep yourself involved, ask the questions, raise the hand, write down in the sidebar. We will try to take the questions on the go. But of course, at the end of the session, we will also have questions. And through the slides, you can have academic knowledge and try to ask as many questions as you can. Okay, let me share this slide.
Please, sir, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so you can hear it, right?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, this is our 10th batch of masterclass, and yeah, 10th. It is the 10th batch of the masterclass, and today what we are going to learn about the personal protective equipments, and what is the purpose of these PPEs. Of course, what is the purpose of our whole class, and this all the sessions, I will say, is to control the workplace hazards, because when you control the hazards, you can minimize the risk and you can eradicate the damage or any danger from the workplace. So personal protective equipment also are a mean of that. So we will go through the slides now. The this slide is very important. Just go through the slide with me so that you also will have the thing in mind that actually what we are supposed to get from this session. So our main objectives are academically and also from the safety point of view are to learn the hierarchy of controls for workplace hazards. That what is the hierarchy of the controls to for any workplace hazards, to control them. Then we will define the personal protective equipments and responsibilities regarding PPEs, that what kind of PPEs are there in the industry, in the workplaces, and why they are required, and whose responsibility is that. Because definitely on a workplace, when we need something, definitely someone is going to provide, either the business owner or the worker. So we need to know this stuff. Then we will look at the basic types of PPEs. Then we will see the personal protective equipment plan, that how we plan a personal protective equipment plan and strategy. Then we will see that how we are selecting and what are the criteria for selection and usage of personal protective equipments. And then we will uh, see the some facts summary about that at the end. And then there is an optional section for selection of PPE for COVID-19. It was very when we started this 2019, because the COVID-19 was in full swing. So we were having this session, and now many people by themselves already know that. So basically, there are 3 or 4 things main only, which from the academic point of view you need to learn, and definitely on the other hand also means professionally and academically. PP is not a very hard and tough topic, but it is important. In safety, nothing is lesser important. Yeah, academic wise, and you know, the things can be means literature wise, the things can be, some things can be more complex and lengthy, and some things can be short and easy to understand and remember, but nothing is less important. If you don't know about the PPEs, you cannot be a good safety professional. Whether you know the safety culture, you can manage the safety plans, everything. But that is the reason you need to pick these things from the slides. So quickly we will go through the slides. So first of all, we will see that what is the hierarchy of the controls for workplace hazard. Actually, it is the order in which uh, we are implementing the control measures in order to eradicate or minimize or the hazards from the workplaces. So the hierarchy, you can see that in the hierarchy there are 5 different levels. There are 5 control measures which we take in a hierarchical manner. On the top, elimination and substitution stands on the top. Then comes the engineering control. Then comes the administrative control, and then comes the PPEs. So you need to remember that the order of these control is very important. So they are applied in order of precedence, because regarding the what hazards or risk or dangers, what is most important is the first priority and the most important and heavenly thing is that if we can eliminate or substitute the hazard. Elimination is the best option, but it is the somehow in the ideal world, because if elimination is not possible, then we try to substitute. We do some substitution of the process, activity, or equipment, or workmanship, so that we can avoid the hazards. Then comes the engineering controls, and then after applying the engineering controls, next step is the administrative controls, where we try to find a way in which the hazards can be controlled to alter the way of doing things or something like that. And then comes the personal protective equipments. That is on the lower side of the hierarchy, but it is also very equal important. And then comes the safer practices. Safer practices are the general things, and PPEs, administrative, engineering, and elimination, substitutions are very much important points. So here you can see in this slide that on the left side, the green is effectiveness, and then there is the implementation cost. So as we go from top to bottom down, we can see that the implementation cost is reducing. Elimination, then engineering controls, then admin controls, PPs. The cost is reducing, but at the same time, effectiveness is also reducing because otherwise it is increasing. It is increasing from safer practice towards the elimination. Definitely, when something can be eliminated or substituted, it is the most effective. And then it is only we try to do it by a safer practice and we don't put some engineering measures or administrative controls or PPEs, then it is least effective. So effectiveness is decreasing from top to down, and implementation cost is decreasing from top to down, but at the same time the effectiveness also decreases. So while applying the hierarchy, while talking about hierarchy of controls, you should need to know that there are 5 types of hierarchy of controls, and then you should know little bit about them. That what is elimination. So actually, what are these controls for? Definitely now we know that it is to control the hazards. And then there will be, there you see hazard control is any mean of eliminating or reducing the risk. Either you eliminate it completely or you reduce the hazard. Then eliminate hazard by changing process so the hazard do not exist. Mean it can be through any way. It is administrative control. Reduce the hazard level through substitution process. It can be substitution method. Provide safety devices such as enclosing a hazard or applying other engineering controls, so it becomes the engineering method. Provide administrative control means safety procedures. We issue safety procedure SOPs that are an administrative measure to control this the hazards. Then comes the use of personal protective equipment. It is about wearing, holding something that will protect you from the hazard. It will reduce the hazard. Actually, it will never eliminate. Remember this. The PPEs are never used alone. None of them, the control measures will be used individually or separately, exclusively. This you need to remember. This is very much important. That this is the question of, means this is the fundamental question about safety, that whether any of them can be used exclusively. No. Yeah, elimination, when you eliminate something completely, then it is possible that you don't need to use anything else. Otherwise, generally, you need to use these hierarchy of control measures in complement to each other. Collectively, you need to use them. So now, quickly, the pre-contact controls, and there are point of contact controls. These are the analogies. You can say every every field, every professional field has its own terminologies. So for safety, you can divide the control measures into 2 types of controls. One are pre-contact controls and second are point of contact controls. Pre-contact controls mean which control measures can be taken before coming someone in contact with the hazard. So it can be elimination, substitution, engineering, and administrative control. That they can be performed prior to the, going some worker into the into the contact with the hazard. But point of contact controls are those control in which they are applied when the worker is in contact with the hazard. He is into that situation, then these controls, they will have to reduce the hazard, and they are the personal protective equipments and safer practices. Safer work practices are applied when you are into some situation, you are in touch with the equipment or process or thing, and similarly that is the case with the personal protective equipment. So these are 2 types of the control. One are pre-contact and second are the point of contact. You need to remember that. Then a little bit about the elimination control. Actually, they involve removing the hazard completely, or it is the maximum protection level for the control measures, and it is the most effective. As we see in the hierarchy of controls, it lies on the top. It is the most effective. So highest priority is to eliminate or avoid the hazard, which is not normally possible. That is not practical always. So there is the elimination of material handling steps in an operation will eliminate lifting hazards. Yeah, means the example is that means these guys they are manually lifting the weight. So if we can uh, eliminate this manual handling and we can substitute it with at the same time it is sort of elimination and substitution. If we can substitute a forklifter, then it will avoid or means we can make some arrangement where we can eliminate some process. Then come the substitution control. In substitution control, what we try to do here, replace the hazard. And what we try to do in elimination, we remove the hazard completely, but here we replace it. And it is also a high protection. It is not highest, but it's a high protection level, and it is also very effective one. So, for example, what we will do, we know the ingots and pellets, they are all lesser dangerous or hazardous for the health as compared to fumes, because we can inhale the fumes and they can be very dangerous. And some means the depending upon the gaseous state, the fumes they even cannot be managed with the ordinary gas mask. So what we do is we try to substitute with the material which we are using on the in the process. If we can substitute the fumes with some pellets or ingots, so that it will be lesser hazardous for the situation. So substitution controls come into effect when we try to replace some activity, some material, some task, some machine or something like that with the lesser one, lesser dangerous one or lesser hazardous one. Then come the third one, engineering controls. In engineering controls, we modify hazardous scenario, and it is also help to increase the protection level. For example, we can do the isolation, we can provide the ventilation, or we can do the modification with the equipment. So in all these cases, what it will do, it will increase the protection level for the workers. So it is also a very effective control measure, and it resides on the third place. It resides on the second place in the hierarchy after the substitution and elimination. So next comes the administrative or work practice control. Administrative measures are actually taken to change the work procedures. They make the change in work procedure. It involves putting the signs or also writing the safety rules and bringing in SOPs. Definitely SOPs means we have some standard operating procedure for any machine, any process, anything, so that the task or activity can be make more safer. So same is the training. Training is definitely a administrative part of the controls. We do the training for employees to avoid the hazardous situation, to make them conscious, to perform them better, so that the hazard of making a mistake becomes lesser and lesser. So these are alarm signs and maintenance schedules. All this stuff you can see here, they belongs to administrative control. Actually, administrative control is sort of changing the behavior of the people. So with a better safety culture, definitely, we are trying to change the behavior of the people. So, the things are interconnected. A guy who understands the safety culture, he will know the importance of safety culture. He will be focusing on the safety culture. So what he will be doing ultimately, he will be bringing in administrative or work practice control to the situation or the workplace. Then comes the personal protective equipment on the fourth level. Actually, these are the least effective ones, but they are also very important to adopt, and even they are required by law, as we will see. But thing is that they are not the alone solution to the problem. Even all these controls, they are not the solution. Nothing is alone the solution of the problem. So we use them in combination with the other ones. they need to wear or hold an equipment in this control method. They reduce exposure to hazard. Actually, they cannot eliminate, they cannot change the process, but what they can do, they can reduce exposure of worker to the hazard. As we know that wearing the mask, it will help us to avoid the exposure of the head and the face to the hazard, whether it is splashes or it is welding activity or something. So it reduces the exposure to the hazard, and then comes the yeah, and they are used supplementary control as a supplementary control, as I first mentioned, and that is very critical thing, and that is very fundamental thing, that uh, actually none of these control measures can be used individually or exclusively to make sure the workplace safety. So they are always used as a supplement to each other. So here we have some example of they are used as a last resort. They are short-term interim measures, right? Because they are used as last resort. First of all, we according to the hierarchy, our preference is to eliminate the risk. Otherwise, we try to substitute it with something. Then comes the administrative control, so that we can improve the way of doing things, or we can bring in some SOPs, something like that. And then comes the personal protective equipments that are the least effective and that are the short term. And of course, at this moment, we already have our worker in contact, because they are point of contact control, so they will definitely be the least effective. And but they are also very important, because they also provide a synergetic effect for uh, improving the other control measures, which we will always be having on the workplace. For example, we make SOPs, and when people are following the SOPs, then they need to be properly well dressed. They should wear proper devices to work according to the SOP. So what they are doing, they are enhancing, they are doing giving this energy to the workplace safety process. And then the personal protective equipment, and definitely last one was the workplace safer practices, that are like the policies and measures also. They are same actually, this administrative and workplace, they alternatively are.
When you have power that you will use your power to open.
uh, Hello.
Excuse me, please mute yourself. Remember, if we can hear what you're eating, we're joining for dinner.
Okay.
I've muted the person.
Okay. Someone was. I thought someone is having some question. If someone will have, then definitely they can unmute.
It's not a question, it's a suggestion. Please, can you raise up your voice a little bit, sir?
Okay.
Thanks.
My voice?
Yes, it's okay now.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
please.
You could have told me earlier.
Yeah.
Thanks to that lady, she interrupted us, and now we are,
No, the lady's case is something different else. So it's not about you.
So interruption is also good, right?
Your network, unfortunately.
Okay. So now we come to the very important slide, that why PPEs are required. Okay, means for example, what we have been told in Asia and Africa, that's why to go for a business, for a job of one day, and then bring in the labor workers, and then also bring in the helmets and safety shoes for them, or ask them to bring in that, and then definitely one guy who, for example, who is going to earn 1,000 from that activity, whatever the currency is. So why he will spend 2-3 on wearing or bringing in his safety helmet and his safety shoe? So all this stuff we need to know, that why we require to do this personal protective equipment thing. So first of all, and the thing only we are, in this, even in this very nice and corporate world, means in the business world, the people, they give, I will say 60%, 70% weightage to the legal requirements. If it is not legally bound, uh, very few people are going to do that for moral and ethical reasons. Definitely, there are legal, moral, and ethical requirements, but the legals are very much important because they make people to follow the things. Yesterday, we had a questions that if someone is at safety place, if they are not providing the uh, PPEs for the people, so then what is the solution on this? Actually, what happens if they are not going to provide something and you ask the safety officer at the workplace, you need to mention, you need just to, just to be safe, to save your own self, you just need to mention that. You can put an email, just sharing with your knowledge with your boss, that you are. If there is some question, okay. If we need to remember, remind our boss. You need to remind your boss that uh, this is required by law to provide the personal protective equipments to the employees. Whoever you have employed and you have assigned him some task, and if you analyze and you see the guy who you have hired, the employer, he have hired a guy who is responsible for safety because it is good for all. Because at a generally, definitely it is onto the government. If some people, they are getting hurt, they are having issues, so it is responsibility of the state to look into the matter. So state has adopted the legal requirements that whoever is going to employ someone and going to ask someone to do some job on his workplace, he need to make sure that he is providing him a safe working place. He is providing him proper tools. He providing him proper protection. So you put a good email, email in soft words that this is job required this and this safety equipments according to the this PPER. This is Personal Protective Equipment Regulations. 1970 Act was there, and then there were some amendments, and 1974 the British, they normally refer to that now, and then the amendments were there, and there were 1992. Actually, major amendments were 1970. After they are referring to 1974 and 1992 mainly, and then there were some little amendments in 2002. So these are the regulations. You can refer to them. That according to PPR Act 1970, it is required by law that an employer is responsible for providing the personal protective equipment as deemed necessary, as required for the job to the employees. So this is actually the legal requirement. Then of course there are moral requirements. Why? Because morally it is responsible, your responsibility. If you are asking someone to do some job, it is the matter is not just about that you are paying to him. Yeah, you are paying to him. Everybody do something for a living, and if you are asking him to do something and he is doing for you, definitely you are also getting money out of that, whatever he is doing for that. But what is morally important, that you need to, from your side, in the in the best interest of the society, it is your moral and ethical responsibility that you try to bring in a safe working place, that it is so that it is win-win for all. Means, for example, as an employer, you will think that you need to buy some helmet or something like that, but just being morally thinking morally and ethically, it is very obvious, evident that definitely means even if it is going to reduce a little bit of your profit margin, in case even then definitely somebody is doing something for you and morally you have to take care of that. So means along with moral and ethical responsibility of an employer, it is also legally required. So yeah, and now as I mentioned, the PPR 1970, 1974, 1992, and then 2002. Now very recent, just there is an amendment that is coming to, this act that will be called the means Occupation Safety and Health Act, and well adopted in UK. It will be 2022, because they have made some amendment into the law. Before, in the law, they have two terminologies. There are two types of contractor worker. One workers when are limb A and limb B. So what they have done, they have included the limb B workers into the law. For example, here I will show you what is the difference. Before, in limb A worker were those workers who were under who safety act, who under the 1974 and 1992 act. These were the workers who were under the formal employment contract. So an employer was only responsible for providing legally, ethically. Of course, if you are even asking someone a favor, you need to take care of his safety. But legally, it was required if you are going into some formal employment contract with someone, then you are legally bound to provide the PPEs. But now what they have done from now on, from 6th April 2022, what it will be like that they will also include the limb B workers, the workers which are the both workers which are in any other contract, whether it is expressed or implied, and if it is expressed, whether oral or in writing. You understand my point? It means in, I'm sure, whole Europe from 6th April 2022, if even it is an oral contract with someone and they are doing something for you, some job, some work, some task, some activity, even then it will be on to you to provide him the proper personal protective equipment. And that is going to be in effect from the April 2022 after 2 months. So in that, you can see that before we have this discussion, means if it happens, especially in Middle East and Africa and many countries, and even in Europe, definitely when it comes to the legal thing, whether you was what you were doing at the workplace, you was not directly employed by the employer, you was working with some subcontractor or something like that, there were issues. So now what are they going to cover is anybody who is doing some activity, who is orally or in writing is in contract with you to do some activity, he will be your responsibility. It will be your responsibility, employer's responsibility, to provide him with the proper protective equipment. So here, whereby the individual undertake to do or perform personally any work or service for another party to the contract, whose status is not by virtue of the contract that of a client or customer of any profession or business undertaking carried on by the individual. You got my point? Means any profession, anything that will come under. For example, means if if there is a guy who is driving a bike, you are asking him to bring in something, he is not in contract with normally. He will not be in employment contract with you. It will be a temporary or even maybe hourly job or something. But even they mention on their website that means the helmet for this rider, it should also be your responsibility. And it is like that in Dubai, that employer need to make sure. I don't know what they are doing with the employees to bring in their own helmet for bike or something for the delivery guys. But now, as of today, on the website of UK government, from 6th April 2022, the oral or written contract will be making the employer binding to provide the employees with the uh, personal protective equipment. So at the time, it seems boring to have this stuff, but definitely it is something. Until now, we were talking about 1992, 2002 like this, but in the last session, we don't have this discussion. But now, from just last week, now on, we are educated on that, and we want to share with you that this is also going to be the amendment since from the April 2022, that oral and written agreements. Actually, when you are making progress, you're going deep into your profession, then you need these things. You need to know somebody. If there is some situation, then they will ask you. Then you need to know definitely that why and under what act or what law these things are like this and this and this. So this was something that was legal requirement by the law, and now why we require the PPEs. It was about this, and then now we can see some categories. Quickly, we will see that there are hand protection for hands, foot protection. And normally, we all professionals, normally all the professionals know this stuff. For head protection, there are helmets. For hearing sorry, it is no. For hearing protection, there are the for eye protection, we have goggles. Then hand comes the respiratory protection. Then comes the fall protection. Then body protection, and then kind the high visibility jackets. So all these sort of things, because they in some way we have to wear uh, to reduce the risk. They cannot remove the risk. For example, high visibility jacket, what it will do, it will not make you a Superman. It will not make you a Iron Man. But what it will do, if you are working somewhere, you will be getting noticed. Okay, you will be getting noticed. You will have a higher chance to not to be struck by someone if it is dark over there. So means these are the all the uh, 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 equipments which will be helping you. Yeah, like always slides, I guess you can have. So regarding slides and lecture recording, forget it, you will have that. Don't worry, don't take it on the mind. But yeah, it doesn't mean that okay, you keep it like this and you sleep. Discuss here things, you will have the slides, you will have the recording of the lecture as well. So be relaxed and just listen what we have to discuss, and we will go quickly through that. You will have the slides, right? So now then comes the requirements. Okay, again there are requirements specifically. Some responsibilities are from employer side and some responsibilities are from employee side. So employer responsibilities are, there are these five main responsibilities. First of all, if he is the employer, he need to do the hazard assessment. For that is the reason the company, they need to have the safety department, because it's employer's duty, it is not worker's duty. Yeah, he need to be conscious, he need to be educated, but it is not his sole responsibility that he should assess the hazards and accordingly make a plan. So first of all, employer need to perform the hazard assessment. Then they need to identify and provide the appropriate PPE according to the hazard assessment, depending upon the hazards. Then they need to train the employees for that usage or care of the PPEs, that how they will use the provided PPEs. Then come the maintenance or replacement of PPEs. Employer need to maintain, keep the equipment devices, PPEs maintained, and in case if it is required, he need to replace the PPEs for the employees. Then reviewing, updating, evaluating PP program. Definitely once they have started a program, they need to keep it monitored, they need to keep it evaluated and improve it. So it is from the employer, and then comes the employee's responsibility. Definitely is the second party equally important. He need to wear the proper PPE properly. If the employer has provided PPEs and something happens and it comes out that the employee was not wearing the PPEs, then definitely employer is no more responsible for that negligence. Then attending the PP trainings, yeah, employee is also bound to attend the any trainings whenever the employer feels that he has brought in some PPE, or he feels that means his safety department feels that the employee training is very necessary, that if they observe that mostly people are not able to use the PPEs properly, then if they conduct some training, so it's employee's responsibility to seriously consider and undergo this training. Then caring, cleaning and maintaining PPE is definitely, once company hands over to you your PPEs, then it is your responsibility to keep them maintained. Then informing a supervisor of the need to repair or replacement, same thing. If you find anything, any problem with the PPEs, you need to inform the supervisor, and it is not an excuse that your PPE is not working. So here, yeah, this video link we will also provide. It is a short intro of these basic types of this basic eight types of eight types of PPEs. You can see them. It is just, you know, I think more of them you have got from the slides. So this you will have the link. So let's move. Okay, now very important thing. The next thing, when you know the responsibilities, what are from the employee and employer. So now as a safety officer, because you will be on the employer side at the moment, because you will be responsible for the safety, you need to create a PPE plan. Okay, so plan, in this plan, you will start from hazard assessment. Here, you will first of all assess the hazards on the workplace, then you will identify the need of the PPE, that what kind of PPEs are required. Then you will do the training for the employees, and then you will keep the monitoring, and will be responsible for the maintenance of the PPEs. So this is the PPE plan, where H is for hazard assessment, then I is for identifying the need of PPEs, T is for training, and then these M's are for maintenance and monitoring. Monitoring is usually the last step, where you keep evaluating the results, and then you put the feedback into the process, and you improve the process. So this will be the personal protective equipment plan. You have to make a plan for the safety to adopt the PPEs for the any job, any project. So here hazard assessment is the most crucial, because hazard assessment will involve identifying physical and health hazard in the workplace, and then organizing and analyzing assessment data. See, it is a procedure. You identify the hazard, what kind of hazard can be there, and then you organize it and analyze whatever you have found on the workplace. Then you identify that what kind of PPEs will be required for this situation, for these hazards. Then you will, this is one thing, is to identify appropriate PPE. For example, the PPE is hard helmet. Then you need to identify the proper type of PPE. Proper type of PPE means proper type of hard helmet, because there are lots of hard helmets. So you need to know what kind of hard helmet should be there, and also what is the protection level of that helmet. So next step, you will identify that. Then you do the reassessment of workplace hazards. So as it is an ongoing process, because once the job is progressing, the things are getting, for example, the first day at a construction site, maybe when they are making the foundations, there is no scaffolding. After 1 week, they will go to the scaffolding. So definitely, if you are not doing the reassessment of the situation, you will have not done anything regarding the scaffolding thing, because this process and activities will start after 1 week or something like that. So you need to do the reassessment of hazards at the workplace. So it was the first place. Then we identify the workplace hazards. Okay, hazards of process. While identifying the hazards, hazards can be from process, overpressure, fire explosions. Environmental hazards can be there. They can be physical, chemical, biological, cultural, social. Chemical hazards can be there due to chemicals. Radiological hazard for radioactivity and this stuff. Mechanical hazards for rotating machine, machinery, welding, and this process. Electrical hazard due to power, electrical stuff. So these kind of hazards can be there. You can go and look into the workplace situation, that what kind of hazards from this can be on a workplace. So for example, when we do, we document and we analyze, right? We gather it, we can gather it as a documented form, and you should make a hazard assessment document that can look like this. For example, there will be a company name, and then it will be the department or where the job has been done, and then date, and then it comes the name of the person who is doing the assessment. Then what will be the, regarding the food hazards, he does regarding to a situation and job, he go there and check, and then he sees there can be food hazard, physical hazards. Okay, falling and rolling objects can be there in the job. Objects piercing soul means there are objects that are sharp, so they can do the piercing of soul, and then can be erections and this stuff. So when he will be looking at that, he will know that these kind of hazards can be for the foot at the job place. Then he will see same these things can be can cause the eye and face hazards. Then he will see that abstract land removal and stuff can be harmful respiratory respiration, and they can pose the respiratory hazards. Then comes the head hazards, electrical hazards. These sides are the sources or activities which can do the hazards on the left sides. Hand hazards, thought goes arm, hearing noise, blood body fluids. So this, as a safety professional, you need to know that these 8, 9 types of hazards can be there, and what kind of activities are there. Means what activity can cause hazard for hearing, what activity can cause hazard for health, hands, what activity can cause hazard for head. So these are the things which someone need to check and do the hazard assessment and fill in this document. And looking at this, when he will do the assessment, he will document it, he will know that yeah, there is food hazard, so they need safety shoe. If there is eye hazard, they will know that they will need the eye goggles. Then same is for the respiratory, head and all everything. And then comes the appropriate PP selection. Depending upon the previous data gathered, they will choose the appropriate hazard, appropriate PPE. While choosing the appropriate PPE, what they will consider: clothing and equipment should be of safe design, should provide appropriate level of protection, should be maintained in a clean and reliable fashion, should be fit and comfortable of wearing. When you choose a PPE, you make selection, you need to take care of these things, and also be very important that it should meet some ANSI standard or whatever standards are in place. So PP type selection comes then. It is appropriate PP, and then type should be of right category, class, category to the hazard identified. As I mentioned, that if say these are helmets, then you need to know that what class of helmet should be there. Then it should be provided a level of protection. It should provide the ANSI standard, should be fit and comfortable for wearing. So here are full body PPEs. As a view, you can see for whole body there are different kind of equipment. Head protection is there. Then we quickly go through the what can be the causes: falling objects, wearing of safety helmet to protect, and it can be there.
Hafeez, are you still there?
He said he's probably having a network challenge. But let us exercise patience, he will come back. And he muted himself unaware to him, probably. Hello,
Yes,
Hafeez.
because he's logged in with 2 devices, so maybe he hears on the second device.
Yeah.
Hafeez, we can't hear you, and your live video went away.
And the 2 devices are muted. Well, yeah. Okay. I believe he will come back to us in a few seconds. Yeah, he's operating the slide.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we are following you, sir.
Okay. You can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen, but not in slideshow mode. You still have to put it in slideshow mode. We now see the PowerPoint outlay.
Okay. Okay. Now it's okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, yeah. Sorry, but I think router was restarted or something like that. Okay. So, what actually when we have done this hazard assessment and you make a document, you came aware of the type of activity and the respective area of that can be exposed to hazards. Then you come to identify the proper appropriate PPE, and for the selections you need to take care that it should be according to standard, fit well and all this. And then type, for example, you know that you need the head helmet, but you need to know that what kind of head helmet you need, a hard helmet you need. Okay, so PPE must be of right category class according to the hazard identified. For example, if there is low voltage, then there will be different type of helmet. If there is high, then different. So class and category should be appropriate. Then should provide a level of protection. For example, if there is a HT lines, high tension lines, and you are wearing the LV class, the helmet which provide the protection for the low voltage class, then it is useless because it is not appropriate level of protection. So you need to take care of that. So for example, this one, to make it easy, for example, if somebody is going to hospital and there are COVID patients, so it means, or someone is suspected COVID patient, so wearing normal, though he will be wearing a mask, but wearing normal mask is not providing the appropriate level of protection. N95 is recommended one, so until you wear the N95 mask, it is not appropriate PPE. Though you are wearing the PPE, you have selected right thing that you need the mask, but you are not wearing the proper PPE because it is not providing the appropriate level of protection. So this is true for everything. PPE should meet or be equivalent to standards developed by ANSI. These are American national standards for industry. So you need the PPE manufactured should meet these standards, should be fit and comfortable for wearing. It is very important. If they are not if it is properly and comfortable, then first of all the employee, they hate to wear that. Secondly, they will be instead of saving the lives, they will be a danger, because if it is not properly fit, a helmet, and somebody is wearing it somewhere, maybe he can drop it down and it will hit to someone else or something like that. Anything can happen. So proper fitting and comfortability is very important. So then come this full body, we know this. Then now some little bit, these things you can pick up, you can just go to this slide and you can read. The main things are to give you concept that for head protection, definitely, means there can be different causes of head injuries. These causes you need to, if there are falling objects, then you should know that they can pose the hazard for the head. And you need the head protection. Bump head against fixed objects can do that. Wearing a safety helmet to protect an employee's head is the solution. It can protect employees from impact, from penetration and electrical hazards. You see, and yeah, it is helmet is very magical thing because all the important stuff of ours is always under this helmet. Means we have skull, ears, brain, nose, mouth, eyes, and even the brain is not working, but it is very important because it will control other things. So it can protect. And yeah, second, why I put this picture of mine? Because when I go there, I don't have to do anything. I am just there to check if the people are there or not. Right? I have nothing to approximately I have hardly to do anything. I just have to give a checkup. But when I am going there, I need to be careful because these guys they are up on the this scaffolding platform, so they can drop anything that can hit in my head. So it is very much important that I should wear the helmet when I am at a workplace. So you see, I wear a white helmet. Okay. Okay, now as we were talking about the classes and the categories, so there are different hard helmets. Class A, they provide impact and penetration resistance. They provide the uh, protection against 2.2 kilovolt. Then class B, they provide 20 kilovolts, right? And then class C, they don't provide electrical protection from electrical hazard at all. So if there is some situation, for example, switch gear room, power room where people are working. So if definitely there are wires and there are cable trays, some and this, and you are a safety engineer, safety officer, and you are there and you see that yeah, whenever somebody is standing or working there, his head can bump into the cable tray and there are wires, so plastic helmet will be fine. But class C is also a plastic helmet. Okay, it will also provide it is comfortable, it is also provide the back protection, but what it will not provide, it will not provide any protection against the electrical hazards. That is also very important, that is required over there. That is the reason you need to know that if there are main cables, HT cables, then you need to assign class B helmets. If there are normal to 2600 volt, then below 2.2 kilowatt, then you go for the class A helmet. Now that you require the helmet, but thing is that you need to know the class, proper class. So there should be the class B or class A helmet according to the voltage. It cannot be a class C helmet. Same, there are bump pad simple. Okay, so this is very important. As a safety personnel, you should also have a vision, have a knowledge that all the helmets, everybody will see this is a helmet, this is a helmet. But you as a safety guy, specific from this field, you should know that all the helmets are not same. They look same, but they have different purposes. So colors of codes for hard helmet. Yes, I told you I was wearing the white helmet. There are color codes for the helmets, and at the end you need to tell me that why there are color codes. White are for engineer, supervisor. Yeah, no. See, in the exam there can be a question that why no, who will be wearing the blue helmet. So you should know the electricians, carpenters, and these people they wear blue helmets. Red helmet is for firefighters. Yellow is for laborers. Brown is for welders, and the people who are doing this hard sort of heat application, high heat application jobs. And green is for safety officers, and then for visitors there will be the gray helmet. So there are different color codes whenever at the site, depending upon your position and your job and your purpose at the workplace, you need to wear the specific color of the helmet. So requirement for hard helmets, NC standard Z89.1 1986. This is a NC standard. The recommended hard helmets, the helmet in use should follow this standard. The manufacturer should make it according to this standard. Resist penetration, be water resistant, must fit appropriately, should have electrical installation. In case of electrical work involved, means it should be class A, B, in case of there is electrical work environment. So these are the things. So same is, this is for hard helmets. There are types, there are appropriate category, and there are appropriate requirement. So same will be with the eye and face protection. There are some causes: chemical splashing blood, wearing eye protection. PPE can save from that, and then there are types of eye and face PPEs, and then there are the some face protection PPEs given, and then there will be standards related to these PPEs. Z87.1, these are very normal, and I assume that once you have this, you already have an idea. Yeah, definitely the goggles will utilize. But in detail, you need to know that this is the ANSI standard. This is the academic question, that what ANSI standard is required for the eye protection products or PPEs, that is 87.1. So for foot and leg, then again all this stuff, there will be legging, metatarsal guards, toe guards, and this. So here also we will mention ANSI standards Z41 1991, they should be met. Okay, and same is with the hand and arm. You got my point. I am quickly going through this because these are the same things. You have to take care of the same stuff. You need to know what is the hazard, what in a human body, what can be impacted, and according to that you choose the PPE. And when you choose the PPEs, then you go for the class of PPEs. When you go for the class of PPEs, at the end you also take care that what kind of standard it should meet. So these are respiratory for this surgical mask, N95 mask, and air respirator. There are CFR standards that should be met. PPEs, your mask should consider toxicity of the environment. So yeah, this for requirements, surgical mask. These we have a discussion during the COVID. So yeah, definitely for surgical mask, reuse is not very much recommended. Should fit properly and be responsibly comfortable. Should provide them a breathing ease. It is very important because some people are not just not wearing the masks because they don't feel comfortable and they feel issues while breathing. So it should be easy to breathe. The design should be like this. Economic design for the masks should be there so that people will like to wear it. Should not be used on PPE, one PPE by all. Yeah, it is very important, especially surgical mask. If you use the mask, other body should not take it. It's also not, very hygienic. Selective PPE must clearly identify the manufacturer. It is very important that who made it. It depends because company you can know that what is their standard. Should comply with 29 CFR. This is the standard. Should comply with and then some of the respiratory protections. Okay, and those were the all means different type of PPEs. Then comes the employer required to train each employee to use the PPE on the phone. It is also important topic from examination point of view. Also, we usually ask that means what is PPE training requirements. So in a PPE training requirements, an employer must train the employees on usage of the PPEs, and he should educate the employees that when PPE is necessary and what kind of PPE is necessary for the job. Because every time means definitely you train the people now. You cannot go every time and you tell a carpenter that you need gloves, you need safety shoes, they should be educated and they should know depending upon the category. They should also be aware that what kind of PPE they require. And then they should know that how to put on, take off and adjust and wear the PPEs properly. Then limitations of the use of PPEs, they should be also told that. because as I told you that they should not consider that if they are wearing a helmet, then now they are Superman, they can stuck into the wall. In same means they should know the limitations of the PP. Proper care, maintenance, uniform life, and disposal of PP should be told to them so that they will know that this mask, when use this much of time, they should replace it. So this is part of the training program or PPE training requirement. So these five things they should be known to the employees. You need to remember this slide. And then retraining of employees is required. In what cases retraining of employees is required? Definitely, if somebody who was trained previously is not showing is not properly understanding the things and is not showing the proper level of skill level to use that PP, or otherwise if there is a change in process or activity, as I told you that your team was working on the first means ground floor, and later on they shifted to the second floor. So now the height is also involved, and you need to do the reassessment and do the PPE assignment again and selection again, and then also the training will be required again. So PPE Act 2002 here, as we mentioned earlier, PPE must be supplied in official. Yeah, according to this, yeah, this one 1992 is regarding the use and responsibilities of employee and employers, and 2002 is regarding the manufacturing. Actually means if somebody is manufacturing some PPE and he is supplying in the market, what he should do, he should mention information on storage, use, and cleaning, maintenance, servicing of and disinfecting of that PPE. This information should be clearly mentioned about his storage, use, cleaning, maintenance, rinsing, and disinfection. Also, the information regarding level of protection provided by that specific PPE should be mentioned, and also information regarding the suitability of PPE accessories and appropriate spare parts should be provided. For example, if they are making some uh, equipment which have some replaceable parts, then they need to mention that what kind of parts can be replaced with what kind of parts, so that the integrity of the PP is not affected. So these information should be mentioned by the manufacturer. Any information or limitation to usage of PP, like every product, when they will make some PPE, they should also mention if there are some limitations of the PPE, then they should also mention it in the literature for the PPE, and also expiration period. And this, like the other product, they need to put the expiration date. So if, for example, you can say for the masks or means if there are some PPEs which use the replaceable parts, then and they are prone to get affected by the environmental factors or something, then they need to also mention the safe dates or expiration periods for that parts of the PPE or as a whole to the that PPE. So according to this Act 2002, if you see PPE on the market, then in the literature paper of that PPE, these five kind of information should be clearly mentioned at least, and it should be in the language of destination country. If you are providing it for the Gulf, then for these Arab countries you should provide in that language. Same is with the other countries. It should be for them those countries which are destined for this PPEs. So next come the PP user handling guideline. These are very general ones. Always use all PP according to the manufacturer's instructions. To ensure the effectiveness of PP against concern risk, we should make sure that all items of PP used are compatible with each other. For example, if there are different parts into PPs, for example, when we use for this some ventilator, means some kind of PPE that have different parts, then we should know that they are compatible with each other, and also the PPEs should be compatible. For example, if we're using the uh, 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 foot protection, we are using some safety shoes, and also we need to use the shins for our legs. Then we need to remember that they should be compatible. Their design should be fixable with each other. All the workers must be trained and instructed to put on is all the workers, they should be, all the workers should be trained, okay, that are prone to be contaminated must be handled with care. So all any disposable PP must not be reused, like we have this mask. All the PP must be stored in appropriate conditions. Any damaged, unfit, expired PP must not be used. So these are very general things that should be taken care, but you need to mention that you need to train the employees for that. So this was all about the user handling of guidelines. And now just at the end, PP fact summary. It is short summary that PP will also be part of your risk control measure of reducing the exposure to of your workers to hazard. They will always be there. Means you, if you do the elimination, even then if you are doing some process, they are not used alone, but they are always there, and they should be used in as a supplement to the other control measures. PP must only be used in conjunction with other clear operating procedure and safe work methods, because if the employees are not clear on usage of PPEs, usage can then PPE can be harmful instead of being useful for them. So they should be used with clear operating instructions and training. Comprehensive induction and adequate on-job training. Yeah, it is very obvious. These things are very much with the PPEs, that whenever you are talking about PPEs, your staff should be well trained and they should have on-job training to use the PPEs. For example, if they are using the for fall arresters, then okay, no problem. In the training class, you show them how to do that. But when they are in the actual situation, they are on scaffolding, they are doing some stuff, then they should need to know that how to handle this stuff. So it on-job training is also very important, and regular training should be there. Awareness on usage and handling and storage and maintenance is also one thing very attached to the PPEs. Then comes the when there's an emergency situation like weapon failure or chemical reactions. Yeah, this is also something you need to educate people that if some something happens with the PPE, some it fails, then what to do, and don't use damaged or heavily worn PPE. So means normally most of the things are common sense in the PPEs portion, or you can say in this section of the safety, but there are some things that are literary, that what kind of regulations run the PP plans, what is PP plans, what are the steps, what is the training program requirements, and what are the standards, and what are the classes, and what are the color codes for the hard elements of these things. So means most of the things are, but in PP section in our course 108, most of the things were common sense. I hope you got them. So here it was all about the PPs. We try to went through this quickly, and thank you very much. And never be safety blinded, be a safety minded, because now you are the torchbearer of safety. And if safety is a joke, then death is a punchline. So never compromise on safety. Thank you very much. And any questions, we will be happy to take any questions, please. And first of all, my question is there, that why we require different colors of hard helmets. Okay, anybody please come forward and try to discuss. This is very common sense, means there is no rocket science. Safety is a common sense, it is a very common thing, believe me. If you make your attitude to be safe and you start thinking that how it can to be safe, then definitely you can be safe, and you can device, you can coach others that how to be safe. You can have an idea that how you can be safe, you can make a process or activity or environment safe. So try to think over, try to do some research. So now let me know that why we have different color helmets, what can be the logic. Okay, thank you very much for tolerating, and slides and this lecture we will make available. And thank you again, and please no questions. Some question please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Hafeez, for a very and well elaborated job done. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And by extension, we thank everyone that listened intently as he moved on. We really appreciate it. Please, as a reminder, the link to the Telegram has been dropped on the chat box. So quickly click on it, because very soon, when we off the Zoom, it won't be accessible to you. Therefore, click on the link. Thank you very much thank everyone who really contributed to this evening class. And do not forget the question Engineer Hafeez asked. Why do we have different colors for PPE? So maybe it might be a question for research if you think, or if you think you have the answer, we can answer right now. Or if you think that you need to do research, then tomorrow at the onset, at the discussion part, we're gonna briefly talk about it. Also, there is a video about PPE, and I wanted to play before he started his course, but because of our interactive discussion was really interesting, I did not play the video. So tomorrow at the interactive session, we're going to play the video about PPE, a very well elaborated video, short video about PPE. You have the answer. So tomorrow we're gonna play it at the onset. Thank you, each one of us. We really comport ourselves as a master student, as L School said. We really enjoy being with you. Let me quickly check the chat board to see if there are questions. Everybody appreciate Engineer Hafeez, the work done by an engineer. Thank you very much. So who else want to intervene? If there is no question, let me give the floor back to the governor of our session, that is Madam Olaleye Janet. Madam Olaleye Janet, you have the floor.
Yes, good evening, everybody. And we say a very big thank you to Engineer Hafeez for today's lecture. The lecture was so wow. Thank you very much. We really appreciate. On behalf of myself and other classmates, we say thank you. Yes, the lecture was so sweet, so smooth, so understanding. More grace to your elbow. And I also thank the class members for cooperating as usual. Thank you very much. There was no stress. The person that was unmuting the mic, it was a mistake because I had to chat her privately. She wasn't doing it willingly. Yes. So thanks, and God bless everyone. Really appreciate.
Thank you very much. I thought she was inviting us for dinner. Well, I noticed one engineer Ahmed. I also noticed good. Engineer Ahmed was carrying a fresh baked bread. Engineer Ahmed. I noticed
it is also good sometimes.
A fresh baked bread, and it was smelling. So I thought that all of us would be invited to Engineer Ahmed's side for a good dinner.
You can Nigeria for that. How to get ready for us.
That's really cool. You said.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Leon, Engineer Ahmed, Miss Janet, and all the people. Just a short answer, please, quickly. Just try it. Give it a try. Do say anything. It's not something very scientific. Something. It is very general, and you will have in your mind definitely. But sometimes, what is the issue? We don't speak our mind. We don't try to speak our. We think, okay, somebody will say something, even if they will not say, okay, session is going to end. So, and I know that I will keep it. I will know that I can research it. I can check it. You know. But let me tell you one thing. If in the class you give an answer or in a discussion table, on a discussion table, in a discussion environment, in a class environment, if you are you try to give an answer, whether you are getting things right or wrong or something, but definitely if somebody is counter arguing to that, then definitely you will remember the thing, you will get the concept for ages. Because everything is on Google, everything is on internet, everything is in the slides. These things are available. But whatever we will talk here and discuss, then there will be any useful thing come out of that. That will sit into our minds. That is my purpose, to ask you. Otherwise, definitely, maybe already in their unconscious brain, they know that why there are different colors. But actually, we don't try to speak that thing. We don't try to give that thing words to that concept. Only this here it makes the difference. Means when we try to bring thoughts in writing, we try to bring ideas outside of our mind to discuss, or concepts to speak out. Then what happens actually during this process, we do the arrangement of the idea. We come up with a better arrangement of our idea that was in mind, because now we know we have to talk it, we have to speak it out, we have to tell people, we make the arrangements. And believe me, when you are doing this, you are doing the great thing to your thoughts. Means same thing, you will know forever, but once you will try to speak it, you will know that you got the better words, you got it improved. So please speak out, someone, because I don't think so, Mr. Leon, that way we will be able to end this session. We will keep sitting, and these people, I don't know what is the time over there. Maybe it is here 1 a.m. with me.
Yeah.
And definitely, but even then, I know they will also be, bored at the moment. But please speak up, someone. It is something like, if one person, he will answer this question, everybody is free to leave. Otherwise, I will keep waiting, and definitely then you also have to sit in the exam. So it will help you out as well. So,
dear delegate, the question is yours. Who will bail us? Who will bail us out? Who is going to be?
Yeah, exactly.
So we need somebody. I will choose a volunteer.
I do agree with Hafeez, though. For first of all, you will remember it better because you discussed and you know why. You are aware why it is, because you had this evolution to the answer, and you will train to think this way. If you need to think of a solution, this is how you train your brain, by doing exercises like this.
Okay, yeah, let us see. Yeah.
Okay, we have Adewale Bamindele, that I don't know if it is a man or woman. Sorry.
Okay, let's see. Speaking not and keeping silent.
By the way, the link to the video also is on the side.
For me, it is a criminal act. Somebody is begging you to speak up and nobody is speaking. Then, it is not sober. For me,
we will choose a
speak it up. Maybe some wrong thing. Maybe somebody say, okay, I cannot figure it out at the moment. Will you please share with us? So at least you can speak up that, if you are there. And so I don't know.
Maybe repeat the question. The question.
Yeah. Why do we have different colors of helmets?
Now what is?
Yeah, Madam Olasimbo.
If you like, you use it.
Yeah, we are following you.
Yeah.
Madam Olasimbo again. Okay, Sir Francis Ume has raised up his hand.
Wait.
You can unmute you, sir.
Yeah, there's.
No answer me. No be on chat with the chat.
Okay, Sir Francis. Later we'll take on the hand of Madam Osinachi also that reason. But we have, I thought.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Oh, I can't hear you at all.
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please. We are hearing you, sir.
We can hear you.
From the lecture that Engineer Hafeez just gave, different colors of heart actually represent different workers in a site. I remember clearly that the white heart stands for engineers. That's what the engineers wear. The engineers, the supervisors, the managers. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. We are following you.
The managers. I also remember clearly that the green heart, it's for safety officers. I remember that the yellow heart, it's for the laborers. So I think the different colors of heart actually represent the different categories of workers in the site. I also remember that the gray heart, it's meant for visitors to the site. So I think it just helped to categorize the different workers in the site. I think that's all I can remember for now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's very good.
The class owes you a bottle of wine.
Because that is not yet, that is a very good answer. But that is not yet an answer to the question.
No. But thing is that if somebody can initiate something, he can finish it. He can learn it.
Yeah.
Okay, now we are at C. I think it is better not to have a lecture on PPE for that, and it is better to have a discussion that will revolutionize your mind, because safety is all about common sense, and common sense comes through discussion as well. You know, what actually, see, all the courses, what is the purpose, what is the ultimate goal? That you should be able to think in a way that you can make things safer. Making things safer means you can avoid the dangerous, hazardous things. Okay, so in safety, take every point and think over it, that how we can combine this thing with the fact that we need something safe. You got my point. For example, now let me explain for you. Helmets are there are different colors. What they will do, this is the how part and what part. But why part is that, what is the logic actually, why they need people to be differentiated at the workplace site? When you think on that line, you will get the answer.
Yes.
The answer is hidden in the logic.
Hafeez, hold on, please, because there is an answer in the chat, and I think we should mention that, and then let Miss Onachi finish it.
Yeah. Please.
Of helmets, in my opinion, says Onyenieze, that's a man, I think, make site visitors and other non-team members easily identifiable and ensure consent.
Yeah, exactly. Now we are at the brink of
Can we ask Miss Onachi, because I'm sure she is a very smart lady, she can finish why.
Yeah. She should come up. Yeah, please speak up.
So you have the floor, Madam Osinachi.
I'm sorry for pronouncing your name wrong.
Yeah, we will find you. They will find you for pronouncing.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening, madam.
I want to appreciate our last lecturer. Indeed, you are a great man. I really enjoy your class. I think different colors of helmet is used for identification. In case you want to report some situations in the site or in the companies, at least you'll be able to know. The helmet will be able to, classify where you are going to make your reports, or this is who I want to see. This is who this report goes for. To my own understanding, at least is for identification of the senior officers in the company. At least by their colors, you will not know which areas you wanna go.
Yes, it is also very
Can
good.
we clap for her?
Miss Els,
All
things
of
are
them.
coming on the surface. Okay. What I was going to do, I was going to focus on one point and I was leaving into that. But now what happened, the other things also come. This is also something that someone at a safety place, if for example, he need a safety officer. He assess, he feels a danger, he will directly go to a green helmet guy. He will know that he is a safety guy. So instead of going there, telling this guy that this is happening there, this is happening there, wasting time, he will directly hit to the point. He will go to the safety officer. This is the one logic. Okay. Second thing is, so this way everybody is benefiting from this coding. I am a safety officer. I am at the site. I am looking, okay, there is some scaffolding activities, and then there is a guy who is near that area. Okay, I will see he is a white helmet guy. Now I know he is an engineer, he is someone, he is manager, he knows the site, he is there, right? So if there is a strong activity in the neighboring, right? If somebody has something to share, okay, Miss Osinachi Golden, please, please, yeah, we should give time to her. If you have some point to make,
She
because
just
you raised it.
answered, Hafeez. I think maybe she forgot
He's
to
the one that
her.
just finished.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So I will just wrap up and finish that when they will see, I will see as a safety officer that this guy is wearing the white helmet. So he is guy from the inside. He knows what is going on in the project. For example, there are excavation and then there are other activities going on. But if I see there is a guy with the gray helmet, he is a visitor. When he was entering the project, somebody gave him the gray helmet. So now, as a safety officer or concerned person, when I will see, I will know that this guy is not fully aware of the situation, not the project. Okay, now he is standing, he is going to that area. There can be excavation. There can be, there they have recent digging. They have recent work or means some activities. There can be something dangerous. So I will know that there are people. They will be working most often on the height. So this visitor will not be aware of the situation. So if he is going that way, it can be dangerous. So I'll go, I will accompany him, or I will take care. I will have in mind that I need to keep a check on this guy. So this is the main logic, to have different sort of helmets, different color of helmets. This is actually the, yeah, you are, all guys are very right, so that we can know who is who and what is what. Okay, what is what, and at the end ultimate goal was to which you should reach as a safety guy, that it, this thing, the coloring thing, will let you assess the situation, let you get consciousness, get you, let you be alert about the people on the site, that who is who, what is what, and what are their competencies. Miss Oni, oh, sorry, actually the name pronunciation is very bad for us, like else and me, we cannot, means that is the reason. Sorry for that, but she wrote it rightly, that competencies matter. And now at this point, I will add another thing, that if she was trying to speak the same thing up, she will definitely, when we try to start speaking, we get more ideas, right? So try to speak up your mind. And you all, if I will ask when did Qaeda Azam, the founder of Pakistan was born, maybe nobody will know. How you will know? So it doesn't mean you are ignorant, you are not smart. It is something that, suddenly I will ask you something. If you will ask me something, even in the safety field or something, like how I'll get know. So when you speak up, it doesn't mean that you always need to be very right. You should know the right answer. Maybe you don't know the answer, but you have some idea, or you have even the better question. Even even you can speak up that the question is not clear. So this is also a way of grooming your mind and helping others as well. So I think it was all about for my question for today. And now over to you. If someone has some input, it's I think very late, and tomorrow we can have the session. Okay, now it's over to you, Mr. Leon.
Thank you very much, Engineer Hafeez, for beginning to the end. In fact, the delegates have mentioned they really appreciate your class, they really appreciate your lecture. And we see how we are gradually coming to the end of tonight's session. By extension, we thank each one of you that you have given your best, especially this evening from the interactive session till the end. We wish you to have the same attitude tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow we're going to bring to you the most senior, the senior of among our experts. Tomorrow's class is going to be fantastic. Yes, I really promise you on onset. Tomorrow's class is going to be really, really fantastic. So try not to miss out anything because he's our elder. The senior man among us is going to be very funny, but it's going to be really instructive. We're going to deal with course 107, fire safety and prevention. Fire safety and prevention. So try your best and be on time.
Yeah, don't miss it.
Yeah, you see everybody.
And believe me, I bet you can't afford missing that guy. He has approximately experience of my age. Yeah, I mean, my total age will be equivalent to his experience. So I'm sure you will not like to miss him. And very, very beautiful thing from him, he can speak your language too, greetings, and he is in love with, of course, we are also, but he is especially in love with your continent.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
by the way, do not forget, we have two links in the chat board. We have two links in the chat board. The link to the video of PPE. We have a very nice video about PPE. The link is there. It will lead you to YouTube if you have it. And also the link to the Telegram forum. We encourage each one of you to be part of it because twice in a month, we really deliberate on safety matters. So thank you very much. This is how we are coming today. Now, finally, my last question. Now you have seen the color of my helmet, so you know who to report to if I misbehave. You know who
this
I
is very important.
If I misbehave. Thank you very much, Governor of the class, Madam Janet. Back to you for closing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo, once more. But this your helmet is so fantastic. It's not an hat, it's an helmet, just according to you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So this is my boss here, Alice. So if I misbehave, you report me to her because we have the same color here.
You've not been misbehaving and we know you will not misbehave.
This is not a safety
helmet.
Thank you, sir. This is not a safety helmet. This is a helmet
from which
you'll need the security. Right? It's boss helmet.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
all right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. But you can unmute yourself.
Please speak up, everybody. Thank you. And
don't miss the teaching tomorrow. It's going to be fantastic. This man has a great heart. He's also married to a Nigerian woman from Edo State. So
please do not say all. Do not say all. Do not say all.
We have to attract more people to see the teacher of tomorrow.
Yes.
Please come.
Okay. Good night. You can unmute yourself
because he has a lot to tell. Also.
Yeah, he has a lot to tell. Good night, and those who are eating, namely Engineer Ahmed. I saw a very smelling bread, packing some bread. So good night to everyone. Enjoy your meal. Have a good rest.
There are questions for the recordings of the lessons of the trainings. I think you can contact the office in Nigeria. That's the secretariat.
Yeah,
Or you're a
Miss.
administrator if you're not from Nigeria.
Yeah, Miss Els. We have some discussion on this. We have meeting yesterday, and definitely what we have decided, we will try to make all these lectures available. Soon they will be online YouTube or something, because they are our own property, so we can share them, and you will be having this all. Okay, and in the links for this, we will try to make available the slides. So that will take this weekend. Hopefully you will have that. We will be working on that. Sure.
So good night all. Have
Thank
a
you so
very
much.
sound
Good night.
night, and tomorrow we're gonna we really appreciate you. We love you all. Bye.
I have to go. Good night tomorrow.
Good night. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Thanks, Engineer Hafeez. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Okay, you can't see the link. The link is in the chat box. Maybe you scroll. I mean, I'm talking to Madam Janet. You scroll the link. I'll wait. You scroll it before I off the Zoom. Because if I off,
I can only see the link to the PPE video.
and then you scroll up. You will see the link of the chat box.
The other one is up. Go up. You see it.
Yes.
Here,
Okay,
I will paste it again.
Yeah, we have to.
Okay. It is there. It is there now.
One for Telegram, one for.
It is YouTube link, right?
Yes.
Okay, I've seen it now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. You will have this.
Yes.
When we provide you lecture, you will have slides link and this video link as well.
So good night.
Take care,
everyone.
everybody. Take care. Good night. Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.